We all love a little sweetness in our lives. A sugary treat can bring a burst of pleasure and comfort. But what happens when our desire for sugar turns into something more? Many people struggle with intense cravings and an inability to control their sugar intake. This raises a critical question. Can sugar be truly addictive? This question lies at the heart of a heated debate. Some argue that sugar is as addictive as drugs, citing its effects on the brain. Others remain skeptical, believing that calling sugar addictive is an exaggeration. This essay delves into the science behind sugar and its impact on our brains and bodies. We will examine the arguments for and against sugar addiction. We'll explore how sugar compares to addictive substances and consider the implications for our health and well-being. Before we delve into the science, let's define addiction. Addiction is a complex condition characterized by compulsive engagement in a behavior despite negative consequences. It often involves cravings, withdrawal symptoms, and a loss of control. When applying this definition to sugar, things get tricky. While sugar shares some similarities with drugs of abuse, there are also key differences. For example, sugar doesn't cause the same degree of intoxication or physical dependence as substances like cocaine or heroin. However, sugar does trigger the release of dopamine, a neurotransmitter associated with pleasure and reward. This dopamine rush reinforces the desire for more sugar, creating a cycle of cravings and consumption. To understand the addictive potential of sugar, we need to examine its impact on the brain. Sugar, like many addictive drugs, activates the brain's reward system. When we consume sugar, it triggers the release of dopamine in the nucleus accumbens, a key area involved in pleasure and reward. This dopamine release creates a sense of euphoria, encouraging us to seek out more sugar. Over time, the brain can become less sensitive to dopamine's effects. This means we need to consume more sugar to achieve the same level of reward. This phenomenon, known as tolerance, is a hallmark of addiction. Studies on rats have shown that sugar can be just as addictive as cocaine. Rats given access to sugar water displayed behaviors similar to those addicted to drugs, including binging, withdrawal symptoms, and even changes in brain chemistry. The question of whether sugar is addictive has sparked debate among scientists and health professionals. Some experts argue that the evidence for sugar addiction is strong, pointing to its effects on the brain and the similarities with drug addiction. Dr. Robert Lustig, a pediatric endocrinologist, argues that sugar meets the criteria for a substance of abuse. He points to its ability to trigger cravings, withdrawal symptoms, and changes in brain chemistry. Other experts are more cautious, arguing that more research is needed before labeling sugar as addictive. They acknowledge that sugar can have powerful effects on the brain but emphasize the differences between sugar and drugs of abuse. Despite the ongoing debate, most experts agree that excessive sugar consumption is harmful to our health. It contributes to a range of health problems, including obesity, type 2 diabetes, heart disease, and even certain types of cancer.